there's a place that you get to in life, right? Where you start like, what did I do?
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean like you healed the world or you changed the world, created this. You have something like this. I'm not saying it for those answers, but for you, like the question of like, what did I do? And I'm at a place where outside of the success and the fame, it's like, what do I want? What am I doing?
Yeah, I see
Right?
that.
And the information that I now have the opportunity to give, the information, if nothing else, the information, if you really want to have impact and you want to try to position yourself to help create the opportunities for change, financial literacy in the Black community, not understanding banking, haven't known it, my alignment with Chase and JP Morgan, but my why, there's a why attached to it. Okay, I'm this is a reason. I got something bigger than my fame and success. This is a passion
Yes.
and something that we're trying to correct.
He's talking about his passion of promoting financial literacy to his Black community.
It's really interesting hearing that perspective, because one of my favorite lessons I've learned is that often the thing that's holding you back is something you're holding on to. So whether it's a grudge, like you're saying, the grudge monster, or a feeling or emotion or an idea that you're not allowing it to let go when it no longer serves you. And being able to walk away from that requires real strength and courage.
It also requires forgiveness, but not necessarily for the sake of the other person. It can also be for yourself as well.
But one of the things that you said about you and your ex-wife that I think is really powerful is that when it's just about us, whoever that may be, you're either looking past each other. And what you just said is now we're looking in the same direction when it's the kids. And so that switch, if you think about any relationship in our life, when we think it's just about us, not about anyone else, you're always going to be against each other. But as soon as there's a higher purpose or commitment or a value that supersedes that.
And understanding comes with the world of communication and great dialogue.
It can also come with a common purpose. For example, taking care of the kids.
This is how I'm supposed to be. That's a monster that you're feeding, because ultimately you're buying in to something that you're creating. You're enhancing this world of thought. And it's not till you sit down and you take a breather and you start to really figure out the true definition of happiness for you. You start to really understand the adult that you have grown into and the level of maturity that has now, I guess you can say, have been banked inside the human that you are. You're banking so much over the years, and ultimately you're shaping and molding yourself into this grounded, hopefully this grounded individual that you're proud to look at in the mirror at the end of the day. I had to get to a place to where I was looking in the mirror and I was proud of what I was looking at, and I was okay with checking myself. I was okay with pointing out my flaws.
Basically, happiness doesn't just come when you've achieved what's in front of you, but also when you look back on how much you've grown so far.
It's all going to center back to, are you happy with who you are and what you did? Are you at a point where you are okay? Do you know you, and are you okay with you? If you are not, it'll break you.
And that holds true regardless of how much fame, money, or success you've attained.
Your energy is incredible, and just the depth. What I love about this, and this was my vision with the show, and you're helping me achieve that, which I'm very grateful for, is I don't think, and I love that you've been doing this more and more with the Audible, with Heart to Heart, like we're getting to see your depth. We're getting to see the mind behind you. Again, as we said earlier, we like to limit people. We like to limit people into like, you just be a comedian, or you just be a race car driver, or you just be an actor. And it's like, we're starting to realize that, like you said, you're not just watching someone's life on TV. There's a human here. There's a story here, and we're getting that with you. Do you think it was this an epiphany that you had before the accident? Or was it that this really, because in your Audible, when you talk about like how when it's just silent, you figure out what really matters. Like when I heard that, I was just thinking like, our near-death experiences, you were told when you came out of it, you should be dead. And you're like, well, I don't remember anything. Does that feel like that was a moment that there is a massive awakening, or were you already kind of working with some of this?
No, I had I was always a transparent and authentic person, but
Yeah.
you definitely change.
That's what-
right?
yeah.
You definitely change. And by the way, still changing. I'm not sitting in
All
front
of
of you,
us, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
as
All
an
of me too.
unflawed man.
So basically, he only realized it after his accident. And even today, he is still changing and improving his flaws.
Everyone's critical today, where it's just we try and find the flaw. And what you're encouraging through this book, through your work, and what we're encouraging here on this platform is critical thinking. Let's be open to the fact it could be really basic, it could be really deep, it could be somewhere in between. And most likely you have no idea because you're not that person, right? You didn't do that.
That's an amazing thing to me. Like
Yeah.
everybody's right all the time.
Yeah.
You telling me nobody's wrong
Even if
today?
Everyone sees things differently, and they're not necessarily wrong, which is why it's important to be open to their perspectives.
I am my dad's child, and I'm my mother's child as well. There's nothing more humbling than a quiet room. There's nothing more humbling than the realization of what is really like necessary. What you take for granted and what we don't think twice about is not until that's compromised that the true appreciation for life, I feel like, can sometimes be had. I don't want to speak for everybody because I think there are some people that truly do get it and that truly do think whatever their space or version of a higher power is daily for life and for what they do. You know, I believe in God, so I'm not as spiritual as some may be, but I'm very thankful for the life that God has allowed me to live and the opportunities that I've been able to embark upon. But I got a lot more appreciation after life was almost gone. Right? Like, do you really appreciate your toes? Do you really appreciate your fingers? Like, do you really think about your movement, your joints, vision, smell? Do you really think about how fortunate and lucky you are? It's the only time where I get where I slow up, right? And when I'm slowing up, it's because the reality of that was significant. I really almost died. My kids and all that, like what? As I'm moving so fast, I didn't even have everything dialed up for if said thing were to happen. What? Oh, because I'm out here. I'm just roaming. I'm out here aimlessly living, and I'm moving so fast. I've yet to grasp the true concept and reality of responsibility.
Responsibility refers to taking care of his body and also living not just for the sake of himself, but for his kids and the people around him. Thanks for watching. Leave a like and subscribe if you have enjoyed.